Moana Exiles Talkative Try here back with another Path of Exile 2 video, and we received some breaking news in the middle of the night after I posted my video at 12 a.m. my time, and we're talking about it today. It looks like there are some changes already to Path of Exile 2's early access launch from what Grinding Gear Games has stated in the past, and people are already getting a dose of reality of what this type of early access experience is going to look like. What exactly am I talking about? Well, let's dive into whether or not Path of Exile 2's 6-act campaign will actually only be 3 acts upon PoE 2's early access launch on November 15th of this year. I will throw this little warning in there. This isn't 100% confirmed. This isn't official information. It's another interview translated from Japanese to English with Trevor Gaiman, who is the console game director. I do think that it is true because otherwise, why would he have said this? But I want to put that disclaimer in there just in case Grind Gear Games comes out and says, actually, no, we're going with 6 for November 15th. This is the article I'm referencing, yet another article coming out from the Tokyo Gaming Show. This time it's not with Jonathan Rogers, it's with, and this is why I'm laughing, it's with the console director, Trevor. Trevor, the mobile fall guy, is the person who originally said, oh yeah, we're aiming for a November release with 8 classes within it for early access before we knew it. Now, Trevor Gaiman, it appears he has let loose some more interesting information that has not been public. I mean, as soon as 3-4 weeks ago, we have been hearing that Path of Exile 2's early access should be 6 acts or 5.5 acts because Act 6 is much shorter than the former 5. But anyways, now it looks like this has changed because in an interview with Game.Watch, Trevor Gaiman said the following. We plan to have 3 acts and end content. Then he also said they plan to implement all acts, 6 acts, in about 6 months. This is pretty wild. Now he elaborates. The content itself is already completed to a certain extent. Therefore, we plan to implement it while making adjustments to parts that we won't know until we actually launch the service. Therefore, I don't think it will take that long. This is a big change, okay? But you all should expect this, my fellow exiles. And you would know that if you were subscribed to Talkative Try, so make sure you hit the sub button right now, because I have been spouting that Path of Exile 2's early access is going to be subject to change every second, every minute, every hour, every day that it's out. Okay, it's not going to be like Path of Exile 1, wherein they have a planned set cycle where they say, okay, every 3 to 4 months, we are going to update the game, we're going to update a bunch of stuff, and in between that time, we're only going to be doing minor hot fixes and maybe adding content to the game. But right now, all content, of course, is subject to removal. Even during early access when it launches on November 15th, stuff can just be gone like that. Disappeared from the game entirely. A keystone that you might really love, they could take it out. A broken unique item, they might just swipe it from the game. Maybe they'll reintroduce that stuff later, but there's always a possibility that they can take it out. Just like what we're seeing right now with the early access. We thought we were going to have 6 acts. It looks like we're going to have 3 upon the launch of the game. That's totally fine, in my opinion, because Grinding Gear Games cooks. They want to make sure that everything is of utmost quality. They've been working on Acts 1, 2, and 3, and the final 3 acts as well for quite some time. We've seen bosses that are currently in Act 1 all the way back in 2019. They were probably built out in 2018. I commented in my video from yesterday, well, really today, that the first boss, the Bloated Miller, is still getting updates to his animations and his movesets. They're still tuning all that stuff. We heard in the Ziggy D interview that when they added the default attack supportable function, they had to go through every single boss in the game and rebalance them. They don't go half-arsed with these changes. When they saw that the Mercenary felt really good with WASD, what did they do? They went back to every other class and they made sure that those classes felt just as good with WASD. They redesigned the entire game, all the levels, boss fights, monsters, and the like, to make sure that WASD felt good. And that caused the delay from June to now November. And it looks like the other acts are going to take some time to get into the game as well. You know, they said 6 months to get all 6 acts in the game. There's another reason that they might be doing this, and this is the more disingenuous isn't the right word, but the more maybe Machiavellian reason, they're going to release early access with 3 acts plus a skeleton of an endgame. And then they're going to introduce another act, let's say a month and a half later. You know what that's going to do? That's going to cause a surge of players to return to the game. And even though this is, yes, a testing period, there's also likely going to be supporter packs. The shop is going to be in the game. This is also going to probably drive more traffic their way at the end of the day. So there could also be that reasoning, but I think the primary reason behind this is the fact they want to make sure that these last 3 acts are of the same quality as acts 1, 2, and 3. When I first spoke to Octavian in March of this year at the first event, wherein I played Act 1, I was terrible, it was kind of rough. He said that they had been spending the past few months just fine-tuning Act 1 and they finally got it in a good place. That was in March. Act 2 was almost done at that point as well. Not at that point, but in June when I went for the second time. Almost done, but not quite there. This was June. Assuming that they keep up that pace and they really want to make sure everything is polished and they want to have the ability to return to past acts and make sure that they are at the top bar of quality, well, it makes sense that the last 3 acts aren't going to be ready on November 15th when this launches. In addition to that, somebody called me out for being incorrect in there being only 3 unique items revealed for Path of Exile 2. I was totally wrong on that, and off-meta Michael reacted. Well, he didn't really react. He just included this little clip, called me out, and then went through all the unique items that we've actually learned about in Path of Exile 2 thus far, and they are now all updated on PoE2DB. They weren't there before. They were hidden as he's showing on screen right now. In the gem tab, there are actually 9 unique items that we know about in Path of Exile 2, and they're all now on the proper tab on PoE2DB. So if you'd like to, go check out PoE2DB or check out Off Meta Michael's channel. I've been watching some of his videos. He's been covering Path of Exile 2, and I appreciate his takes, and I appreciate the correction. That's all for today, Exiles. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I don't have to make another breaking news segment video today, but we'll just have to see. There might be another leak of sorts from TGS. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you like the video, make sure to hit the like button. I'll talk to you later. Tala Moana, my fellow Exiles.